Just as the news of Lil Durk's shocking arrest broke Nicki, his estranged wife suddenly went viral, stirring the internet and sparking endless questions about her life now. Once the strong woman behind one of hip-hop's biggest stars, Nicki faced a whirlwind of love, betrayal and heartbreak, from her sudden rise to social media stardom to the shocking revelations surrounding their separation. Nicki's story is full of twists and resilience. Let's uncover the truth of what really happened to Nicki after she parted ways with Durk. Nicki goes viral amid Durk's arrest. As the world reels from the news of Lil Durk's arrest on some of the heaviest charges of his career, an unexpected figure has been pulled right back into the spotlight: Nicole Convin. Also known as OTF Nicki. Yes, Nicole Convin, the same woman who once stood beside Lil Durk through his rise from Chicago's underground rap scene to mainstream fame. Now, as Durk faces accusations that could end his career, a viral post has stirred up a wave of support for Nicole, Durk's first love and mother of children. And why has this resurfaced? Why of all times has Nicole, who's now living a completely separate life from the OTF world, become the center of attention once again? And why has Nicki gone viral? Here's what we know about the viral post and the whirlwind of reactions that followed. It all started with a single seemingly innocent post on X, formerly Twitter, that exploded across social media on October 26, 2024. Someone shared an old photo of Nicole and Durk together, caption: Durk's going to be alright. He bounced back from this, and just like that, over 4.9 million views and thousands of shares later, Nicki's name was everywhere. It was almost like a flashback, a reminder to the world that often Nicki had been there since the very beginning. So why did this post strike such a nerve? Why would anyone care about a throwback photo of a couple who split over a decade ago? The answer is simple yet complex for Durk's fans. Nicki represents loyalty, authenticity, and a connection to his early days that seems almost lost now. And as comments flooded in, it became clear people had not forgotten her. One user wrote, "She was with him when he was nobody, a real one." Another said, "Without her there would be no Durk," which is ironic now if you think about it. Nicki, the high school sweetheart, the one who co-founded Only the Family alongside Durk, the mother of his children, has become something of an unsung hero for his fans. But she never asked for that title. In the years since their split, Nicki has built a new life, one far away from the drama of the OTF lifestyle, but it's clear that for many she still embodies the foundation of Lil Durk's legacy. And then with Durk facing serious federal charges, his relationship with Nicki takes on a whole new significance. It's as if fans are now asking, where would he be without her? Fans quickly rallied, pointing to Nicki's unwavering support back when Durk was still trying to make a name for himself in the hard streets of Chicago. They remember stories of Nicki paying for studio sessions and holding things down when Durk had nothing. In a way, Nicki is Durk's history, a part of his journey he can never fully erase. But for Nicki, it seems like it's been more than a decade of trying to move on. She's not part of OTF anymore. In fact, she's the CEO of a successful credit restoration company called The Credit Click, with a thriving social media presence and a new life of her own. And despite the viral post and the renewed attention, Nicki hasn't said a word about Durk or his arrest. No reactions, no statements. She simply moved on, and yet it seems like the world won't let her fully leave that past behind. She's a reminder to fans of the raw beginnings, the sacrifices made in silence, and the journey that shaped who Lil Durk is today. So now, as the public watches Durk's life take this dramatic turn, it's almost like we are all watching Nicki too, the woman who stood by him in the early days, the one who helped him build the very brand he's now fighting to protect. This viral moment, this unexpected spotlight, it's more than just nostalgia. It's a reminder of loyalty, of sacrifices that are often forgotten, and of a legacy that's still deeply tied to a woman who's moved on. Nicki's viral resurgence might just be the unspoken story in Lil Durk's saga, a story of what could have been, what was, and what still remains. And yet the story of what happened between them and why she left him in 2013 is still full of questions and some shocking revelations. Durk legal battle and Nicki's return to headlines. The arrest of Durk caught everyone's attention, from fans to critics to the media who were hungry for details. And for Nicki, this was another sudden thrust into the spotlight, a spotlight she hadn't expected and certainly didn't ask for. But that's the thing about life in the public eye: when you think you have finally moved on, it has a way of pulling you back. And this wasn't just about Durk anymore. It was about a shared history, a tangled web that Nicki couldn't easily step away from, even though she had tried so hard to build a life outside of it. And as the details of Durk's legal battle began to unfold, Nicki's social media started buzzing. Every post, every picture, every word she shared seemed to fuel the public's obsession with her connection to him. Whereas on the flip side, Lil Durk's legal troubles have reached a pivotal point. He stands charged with one of the most serious crimes possible: conspiracy to commit murder for hire. The federal government's case, supported by an FBI affidavit released on October 25, 2024, claims that Durk, whose full name is Durk Devontae Banks, financed a planned act of revenge. According to federal agents, Durk and members of his rap collective OTF allegedly plotted to target fellow rapper Quando Rondo after a long-standing feud turned deadly. These charges stem from a gas station shooting in 2022, where tragically not Rond, but his cousin lost his life. And now, as Durk sits behind bars, one of the nation's top celebrity defense lawyers, Bradford M. Cohen, believes there's a path for Durk to beat this charge. The key to this case lies in what evidence the prosecution can actually bring forward against Durk, according to Cohen, who recently spoke on Law Crimes YouTube podcast. A single text from Durk has emerged as potential evidence. This text message, in which Durk appears to distance himself from the travel plans of other OTF members, read, "Don't have them associate my name with any kind of flights that they're taking." Bradford Cohen admits certainly that's not a good text, but Cohen quickly points out that while suggestive, this message alone does not prove intent or direct involvement in a conspiracy. It's a piece of circumstantial evidence, one that could easily be interpreted in a variety of ways. As Cohen put it, is that the only text, because if that's all there is, he insists it's far from enough to stand on its own in a court of law. So far I've seen one text that says, "Don't have them associate my name with any kind of flights that they're taking." Certainly that's not a good text, but is that the only text? Because that doesn't, that in itself doesn't stand on its own. Certainly it's circumstantial, but like I said, we have to wait and see what other evidence they have. This brings us to a crucial question: is the government's case against Durk strong enough? Cohen remains unconvinced. In his view, there's a lot missing here if the prosecution cannot present a clear line of communication proving that Durk directed or financed the alleged revenge attempt. Then the conspiracy charge could fall apart, and according to Cohen, this might actually be the case. Meanwhile, the situation for Durk's co-defendants appears to be far more dire. Cohen highlights that the other members of OTF arrested in connection with this case face a damning set of evidence that includes travel records, plane tickets, and even video. Cohen points out that these other guys have been directly linked to travel plans, a rented car, and other physical evidence tying them to the alleged crime. For them, this case is going to be an uphill battle. Yet for Durk, the landscape may look very different. Cohen believes that Durk's defense can argue he had no direct involvement in this alleged conspiracy. They can contend that Durk's association with individuals who might have had their own agendas does not necessarily imply guilt. According to Cohen, I think that Durk will still have a defense. He sees missing pieces in the case that leave room for doubt, reasonable doubt. For now, Durk's defense rests on challenging the strength of the evidence against him, framing him as someone who may be connected but not directly culpable. The question remains, will this defense be enough, or will new evidence emerge that could shift the case once again? For Lil Durk, this isn't just a case. It's a fight for his freedom, his reputation, and perhaps the very legacy he's built in the music world. Facing a potential life sentence, he and his legal team know they can't afford to leave any stone unturned. With the glare of media attention, fans, critics, and legal analysts are all watching closely, ready to dissect every new revelation. For Nicki, this wasn't an easy moment. She had moved on, and yet she was being pulled back into the narrative she thought she'd left behind. It was a moment of testing, a question of how she would respond to the resurgence of attention to the people who couldn't let go of the Durk and Nicki story. So how did Nicki respond? She kept her focus on what mattered most to her children, her goals, and the life she was building on her own terms. There were no public comments, no statements, just a quiet resilience in the face of an endless media storm. This time Nicki was determined to protect her peace. She knew that the public's fascination with her past couldn't define her present or her future. As the court dates continued, the media spun the story in every direction possible: old photos and turf